Hi, this is the Teaserking coming to you with Week 1 in the NFL. I'm going to give you my handicapping on the top 3 games of the week. I'm going to start off with the best game of the week, which is Oakland at Denver on Monday night. Denver's laying 3 points, and we love Oakland getting 9 in a teaser. Oakland is a very good dog in this series. They've won in Denver quite regularly. Denver very rarely blows them out. Really, without the last time Denver really was a dominant home team was when John Elway was there. Denver's a very strong bet against home favorite. And specifically in this type of game where they're playing a division foe like Oakland, and with Oakland playing much better with Jason Campbell at quarterback, I'm under the impression they'll have their running back. He'll be back. Kid from Arkansas. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Not big on names. Anyway, I look for Oakland to be very competitive, probably win the game outright, but we're getting 9 points. And let's go into the numbers. I do my micro approach first, because this is a division game and Oakland plays Denver twice a year. It's a very good way to look at the trend because all games are based on matchup. Therefore, what they look for, how is my team going to run against yours? How's my offense against your defense? Can you stop me? Can I stop you? And vice versa. So when you play each other twice a year, you see the matchups. Who wins, who loses will generally be consistent. There's not a lot of changes, and you get the same team. And the pros a lot, not like college where a key kid graduates, your quarterback's a senior and he's gone. All of a sudden the team's not any good. Not in the pros. It's basically a little bit of turnover, but nothing major, and it's much more of a team sport. So let's break it down. The game's in Denver. So Oakland in Denver since 2000. Basically the last 10 years, 20 plays in Denver. Oakland is 10-1. Just if you took Oakland. If you took the dog is 10-1. It's not always Oakland as the dog. Probably most of this time it is. So right there you have a 90% trend. 11 times they've played. Oakland is not only Oakland is won, and if you took Oakland you won, but also if you took the dog. Most of those were Oakland wins. If we look at when, well, there's really nothing else there except for example, Denver is 5-6 in Denver in this game. So it just shows you how weak Denver is. Overall in this series, it changes. In Oakland you play the favorite, but let's just focus on the in Denver part. So you have Oakland and the dog being 10-1. You have Oakland being the dog here. Extremely good. So it's 2006, or the last 10 games. It gives you a better chance of looking at the minor changes that have, maybe a new coach, maybe a new quarterback's been brought in. So the trends maybe changed a little bit. So we look at the last, basically since 2006, last 5 years. In the last 5 years in Denver, Oakland's 5-0, the dog's 5-0, which makes sense. Oakland now, the trend starts to come. They're 7-2 as the dog, 1-0 as the favorite. So they're 8-2 against Denver the last 10 games. So not only in Denver, you got Oakland being 5-0 and the dog being 5-0. As the dog, Oakland's 7-2. Now here's a stat that you'll love. In Denver, Denver's only 1-4, and the favorite's 1-4, which is pretty much Denver's been the home favorite. And in the last 10 games, well, in the last 5 games in Denver, they've only covered 1. So you have Oakland covering all day and all night, 5-0. Now let's look at a little bit more of the micro trends, which I like. We'll go back to 2009. We'll look at Denver as a home favorite. Really no trend there. They're 4-2 against. Only 2-4 as a home favorite since 2009. Oakland is a road dog. Not much there. 11-5. This is more of a micro look of just Oakland against Denver. There's really no other big trends on this. Well, here, since 2008, if you play against Denver as a home favorite, it's 12-2, 86% playing against Denver. So the last 14 times Denver's been home favorite, if you bet against them, you're 12-2. So you have a team that's not very good at home. They're probably overspread. They probably shouldn't be favored in half these games. They're not. John Elway hasn't been there in a while, but yet the spread still shows John Elway there. Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow don't scare me. It's not John Elway. I think Oakland's got a better quarterback, better defense. Coaching similar. There's no great thing here. These teams are even. Oakland likes to play in Denver for whatever reason. They like the altitude. This is a game where Oakland goes in. They're fairly healthy. I will think of the name of the running back. I know he played Darren McFadden. I apologize. He should play. He's got an eye problem, but he's probable, so that's very big. But Oakland likes to play in Denver. Oakland is not intimidated by there, and Oakland certainly is a play. This is my #1 play of the week. This is my lock. Put this in 5, 6, 7 teasers. All over the place. College, pro, just take Oakland all over the place. My second game is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. If we do a micro trend of that, first thing I noticed the last 10 games is Pittsburgh and the dog are 9-1 the last 10 games these two teams have played. Not necessarily in Baltimore, which is normally where I trend it, but this is in the series. So the last 10 games played, if you took Pitt, you're 9-1. If you took the dog, you're 9-1. Here you have Baltimore being favored by 2.5 points. So you get Pitt as the dog. You got Pitt and you got him as the dog, getting 8.5 points. Absolutely lock. They have Baltimore's number. Baltimore, I think the big difference is the quarterback. I think Roethlisberger is 100 times better than Joe Flacco. I don't get Joe Flacco. I'd rather have Chase Daniel or Graham Harrell. And I made a video a couple years ago when they didn't get drafted, and I said, what's going on here? When you're taking Josh Freeman at Tampa Bay, I had a Chase Daniel and Graham Harrell who were far better in the Big 12. It was a joke. Chase Daniel was the best quarterback. Graham Harrell was right there with Michael Crabtree. You had Sam Bradford, you had Colt McCoy, and Josh Freeman was the 5th or 6th best quarterback in the conference at that point. I think Todd Reesing at Kansas was better. I never could understand the draft pick. Now we go forward. Chase Daniel's the #2 at New Orleans, and Graham Harrell's the #2, I believe, at Green Bay. I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, he's #2 at Green Bay. So, believe me, if Aaron Rodgers goes down, they'll be a better team with Graham Harrell than they are with Aaron Rodgers. No, seriously, they are very, very good quarterbacks. How they didn't get drafted just shows you that these scouts are clueless about drafting quarterbacks. Missouri's quarterback, Blaine Gabbert, what a joke in the first round. He was nothing in college. What do you think he's going to be good in the pros when he can't do anything in college? Just blows my mind. These guys get drafted. They have no idea what they're doing, these NFL scouts and GMs. That's why half these teams are terrible, is they do not know how to judge talent. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, with that said, Pittsburgh has their number. Let's go into the trends. Since 2000, it's kind of skewed because in Baltimore, Pitt's only 7-4 the last 10 years. This is why I use the shorter term trends, because here it doesn't show anything. It says Pitt's 7-4, they're 6-3 as the dog, Baltimore 7-2 is the favorite. Doesn't really show it. That's why I try to get into the shorter trends. Sometimes the longer trends will show it. Like if the game was played in Pittsburgh, the favorite's 12-2. Now that's a very good trend if you're looking at it. For the long run, you'd say, wow, Pitt's 12-2 at home against Baltimore. The favorite's 12-2 in Pitt. And that's a very good trend. It's normally been Pitt's 11-3 there. But there's no trend in Baltimore. But when we look at the last 10 games, Pitt and the dog are the play. Pitt's a very good dog. Pitt covers quite a bit. Hard to go against them. Baltimore is a great home favorite against everybody but Pittsburgh. 95% of the time, if you take Baltimore as a home favorite against any of these weaker teams, they'll win and they'll cover. You got to watch them against Indy. You got to watch them against New England. You got to watch them against Pittsburgh. But against the rest of the league, you take Baltimore as a home favorite, but not here. Since 2006, again, it's kind of skewed. Baltimore's actually 5-0 at home, and the favorite and the dog are 4-1, and Pitt's 3-2. But in the last 10, Pitt and the dog is the play. So what happens is, before, like in 2006, Pitt obviously lost at Baltimore. But since then, since Roethlisberger's there, they're much, they've basically got their number, and that's really what you're looking for is the matchup. Pitt's not afraid of their defense. They practice against their own. Troy Polamalu causes havoc, and basically the weakness is Joe Flacco. He gets burned. He throws the picks. He gets fumbled. He gets sacked at the wrong time. He's the weakness, and as long as he's there, forget about it. In the macro again, let's look at 2008. You got Baltimore's 19-2 as a home favorite. And like I say, against anybody else, I take Baltimore as a home favorite all day and night. They're 47-8 since 2008. 85% is Baltimore in a teaser. They're excellent in a teaser any other time. Pittsburgh is a road dog since 2008 is 9-1. Overall, they're 43-11 or 80%. That's not bad. There's not much else going against them. We can look since 2009. Baltimore's 13-2 as a home favorite, and 30-6 or 83%. And Pitt is a road dog, is 4-1. They're not a road dog much. 13-4 overall on the road if you took them. And they're also 4-1 against as a road dog since 2009. But with that said, the play here is clearly taking Pittsburgh because of the matchup. Real briefly, tomorrow's game, we got New Orleans and Green Bay. Green Bay laying 4. We're going to take New Orleans plus the 10. I'm sorry, they won the Super Bowl. Anytime you get Drew Brees and points, you take them. Going to Green Bay in September is not a problem. It's not going to be 10 degrees and 2 feet of snow. This game's dead even, and basically I get a team like New Orleans. It's like New England. It's like Indy. When Manning's there, when you get them as a dog, you bet them, and you bet them hard. So I love New Orleans and 10. I think Green Bay could win by 3 or 4 points, but that's who I take. Quick look at since 2009. Green Bay's 12-3 as a home favorite, 31-6, 84% overall in a teaser. That's not bad at all. New Orleans is 4-0 as a road dog because they're not dogs much, 3-1 against. Now New Orleans is only 27-9 in a teaser, only 75%. So let's go back to 2008. Green Bay is 15-6, so not as strong as a home favorite. 40-13 overall, which is 75%. New Orleans is 9-2 as a road dog, 12-4 as a road favorite. They're 21-6 on the road, and they're also 41-11 or 79% overall. New Orleans is very, very strong as an underdog on the road with Drew Brees. If he gets hurt, you got Chase Daniel. You don't have barely a loss in talent. Believe me, Chase Daniel is very good. Anyway, those are the 3 games. I also like a few others. Please go to my site www.teaserking.com. I have a free pick out there. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think it's a couple of college games. No, it's a college game and a pro game. But please go to the site. I think I'm taking Michigan plus the points against Notre Dame, and the Lions plus the points against Tampa. Detroit will be a very strong team because of their defense. They should not be the underdog in this game. Tampa should be. Detroit's far superior, should be a 7-point favorite. this game's a steal also. Anyway, go to the